We're live.
We're live, Josh.
Yeah, we're live.
Josh doesn't seem very
Yeah,
alive.
that's to care.
He is mostly awake.
I'm mostly awake, unlike most of the people that pay attention to this election in the last little while.
He's woke.
He's awoke.
Not me.
Definitely none of those here.
Nope.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but he's wearing a terrible toque.
How
As
dare
for the
you.
comments,
Come on.
his toque is worse than taxes.
You heard what they said.
That's what they said in the comments. I love it. I love it. Troll me harder.
It's a good comment.
What?
We all agree.
Yeah, that was funny. Oh well. What did you guys get up to this week? Did anything happen in sports that is interesting? Anything that happened more exciting than the regular?
I mean, the Jets won the President's Trophy.
They
That's
did.
right. That's right. They
Pretty
did.
Sweet.
First time ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the Central and the West.
Right.
The NHL. I'm kidding.
That's right.
As the Jets, because
as the Jets,
technically the Thrashers won something.
Mhm.
They won the division, I think, in 2007.
Yeah.
That's it.
Who cares about that? Didn't
Yeah.
happen.
Exactly.
They're not a
I'm
team
pretty
anymore.
excited to see who we're going to play. It's either going to be Minnesota, St. Louis, or Calgary.
Marc-Andre Fleury.
So I hope it's not Flower. Please no.
Fleury retire.
I'd rather play Calgary out of all three options, to be honest with you. Because what if you get St. Louis and Bennington stands on his head again? And then what if you get the Wild and you've got to go through Flower?
What about is someone injured for a long time or what? Somebody got injured in that shootout.
Ehlers got injured.
But he ran into a ref, didn't he?
He ran. Yeah, I don't know if it was a ref or a linesman. He somehow ran into him and fell down, and now he's like week to
Day to
week.
day, yeah. And then what's his name? Sandberg?
Sandberg blocked a shot.
Yeah, he was up for the game. I think he's okay though.
Hopefully,
I think it was just a stinger they were saying.
Okay.
So
he blocks
We'll
a
see.
lot of shots.
Don't like
does.
people getting injured in the
not right
playoffs.
now. Yeah, exactly.
Not a good time.
Which they start Saturday for the NHL. I don't know when the Jets start, but we don't know that yet.
That's good. That's good. So,
yeah.
as for the news that we all love and love to hate, or love and love, I don't know. Nobody loves it, but
Yeah.
only one man loves it, and that is the tariff update. Adam, your favorite topic. What recently
Is it?
happened after we talked about tariffs last time?
We babbled on about it,
Yeah,
and then they were paused.
90 days.
Paused for 90 days.
90 days.
Yep.
You know what? It's like I was saying before. Let's not worry about it too much because it's a day-to-day process, you guys. Who really cares?
Is it all of them are paused 90 days?
No.
Or is it just
No,
some?
no. There's still tariffs on Canada and China,
Oh, there you go. Okay.
and I don't think anyone else.
Basically, the two countries that are continuing to tariff the U.S., the U.S. is continuing tariffs against.
Yeah, the
And
ones that
it's-
retaliated.
Yeah.
I see.
Everybody else, 75 nations, opened up negotiations with the Americans. Because you know what? They don't really have large markets. Canada has a large market with the U.S., and China is a large market, right? So both of them...
for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, so they both have power that they can wield a little bit, you know?
Didn't we try to negotiate with them at the beginning of all this?
Not really. There's not really an official that can do so.
Okay.
Remember that Mark Carney's just the prime minister designate, or well, technically the prime minister, but the prime minister unelected. So he's not really acting in official capacity unless he absolutely necessary.
He's like a
you.
fake prime minister, but not really, but kind of.
Yeah,
I don't know. He should get elected to something before he does anything.
yeah, and they basically decided that they'll revisit it after the election happens,
Right.
which is in how many days?
It doesn't matter. He's going to win. That's what I've been told by everything.
By all of the
By
polls.
everything.
Everything has told me he's going to win.
Well, numbers are changing, Adam.
Are they?
Yep. What's your thoughts on what's upcoming tonight, Thursday night? Wednesday night we have something,
night,
and then
yeah.
Thursday night we're having something.
Wednesday night there's a debate.
Wednesday and Thursday, is it not?
I don't know. Is it Thursday too?
It's usually the French debate first.
Oh, yeah, right. That's
Yeah,
how it is. French
exactly.
debate Wednesday.
Thursday
English
night.
debate is Thursday, I guess.
Yep.
I've not confirmed that. You're confirming it?
That's what CBC. I mean, I think I have an article, Michael. You can pull up here and tell us the exact time here.
All right. Well, what are they going to do on these debates? They're going to debate stuff. That's the answer. How come none of you got that right away?
Yeah. I don't know what you guys are expecting here, but we're going to have the same old arguments, and then maybe the polls change. Maybe nobody. Mike Lee, do you think anybody is paying attention to elections these days? Or are they waiting till some of the polls suggest 72 hours till election day when they're actually going to decide?
I think you get a healthy mix of both. Some people are going to wait until it's crunch time to go cast a vote. Others have been watching, like, every day like hawks to see what's going on. So I think it's a healthy mix either way.
Some people I know are already casting their votes. I think if you're dead set, go and cast your vote so that you leave space for the people who are less decided and might be dissuaded on election day because of heavy polling locations, right?
Yeah.
If you know you're going to vote, just get out and vote and do your thing.
Get her done.
I mean...
But what if I want to change my mind?
Then listen to the debate tonight, Thursday night.
I will.
And see what those guys have to argue about. It should be good. I like to... I'm a political nerd. I'll listen to them debate. I don't know who's going to win. Mark Carney and Polyev. Are they going to go at it? And they're going to do that American-style politics that we've been seeing so much of this election?
I don't know. I think they got to be cautious. Obviously, like we know that Polyev and Blanchette could probably wipe the floor with Carney, but the problem is if they do that too badly, people will actually feel bad for the guy.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently that's a thing. So, well, I mean, lots of people want to vote for him, right? So if he gets wrecked and looks like a fool, some people will just feel bad for him, and it won't sway their opinion, even if it should. So anyways, I think they definitely need to strongly come out and point out all the absolute nonsense, drivel, lack of platform that he has, and maybe get your own platform instead of constantly stealing everyone else's. But they gotta be careful not to come out too strong, I think.
I'm gonna talk about that later because I heard some things on the other side of the internet about who has a plan and who doesn't, but it's ridiculous.
Oh, okay. Well, the internet is always full of truth.
The other side.
I know. That's right. There's multiple sides, you guys. And one of the points on that is we recently saw polling numbers changing a little bit. There's been closer numbers to the parties being actually neck and neck from the mainstream pollers. Have you guys seen the numbers recently?
Not for a couple days, no.
No. Well, the Conservatives are basically at least 1 or 2 points behind or on par with the Liberals currently. So what does that have to say? I mean, there was a whole discussion about on the news over the weekend about the crowd sizes being an accurate measure of what Canadians are actually thinking, and they were...
Can't say crowd sizes.
Apparently you can't.
No, that makes you a Trump.
That was the other sad thing. The media just going about telling American narratives, like just because Canadians are excited for a politician and they go out and they have like actual nice rallies for people to get excited about politics again,
then that has to be a Trump.
Apparently then that's just a Trump thing, and that's Trump style. I mean, why does the media
only Trump can have a big rally?
Apparently, like
he would love to know that. He'd be pleased by that.
I don't know. You guys, do you think the media is just...
They're just
case
desperate.
In point.
They're desperate to attach Polyev to Trump. It's
bias.
Old, it's old. It's annoying, and I don't know. I guess maybe people are getting sick of it. You said the polls are shifting a bit, so people could be getting a little sick of the media trying to tell them what to do. I don't really know. I won't point out which one because I can't remember exactly which one it was, but
they're all bad.
They're all kind of a pain in the ass. And they showed a clip, and it was a clip of Pierre doing a speech or whatever that I had previously watched, and it was the part after where he takes the questions.
Mm-hmm.
And so the clip that they showed that annoyed me is they showed basically Pierre talking about with the reporter talking about the size of one of his crowds, and what they did was they cut off the part where the reporter asked him about the crowd. So the reporter brought it up and they started discussing it, and they mentioned the size of the crowd and whatnot, and then Pierre responded to them. But what we were shown in this clip was just the part where Pierre responded. It was totally made to look like he was bringing it up and being a douche about it. So I hate when they do things like that out of context. It's very frustrating.
I also watched the one of the journalists. I can't remember the name of her, but it was the same one that was questioning Mark Carney that other time about the taxes there.
And I hope she looked inside herself.
Yeah, she was not given another question. She was given her turn, and then Polyev, gives only so many questions to go about his day, and that's been the rules for his questioning each day. Like that's just the way he does his press conference. She was just yelling out of turn, making a big story out of herself.
Oh.
Just trying to be like, asking about that security clearance thing. And I was like, and you don't even see that. You just hear him talking about like there's some kind of, what did they say? Like protester or something in the news. And it was like, this is ridiculous. Like this journalist is asking a question that's already been answered like over a week ago already. Like she's like, do your research, as Mark Carney would say.
He's answered it so many times.
I know. And she was just trying to make, she was trying to get her own self on the news rather than actually tell us valid concerns about the election. We still barely know what each party is really intending to do. You have to search that on your own and compare the platforms rather than watch the news. You're so uninformed, and I absolutely hate it. One of the bigger stories over the weekend was the do we trust the polls, guys? Did you guys see this?
Yeah.
Pull that up, Michael Lee.
I just wanted to say, I think that one of the problems is, the media now and the reporters, and when they're talking about this stuff, they're almost so dead focused on polls. They're maybe forgetting to talk about, actual policy and stuff that the leaders are announcing and what they're doing. Like so many stories are just, the polls are this, what do we think about that? And it's, I feel like maybe we could refocus on what the substance is actually being discussed.
Some conservative supporters question whether the polls can be trusted. What do you guys think about that?
Read a little bit of this article, just lead us into what they are talking about here.
Let's see here. Outside a convention center where conservative leader Pierre Poilievre held a rally in Brampton Wednesday evening, two of his supporters unfurled a long white banner that read, "Do you believe the polls? If he's not going to win, we're going to lose Canada," said one of the supporters named Sarah, who didn't want to give her last name and wore a sweater with the same message. Look at the crowd coming out for Poilievre. We cannot believe the polls are right.
Okay, there you go. So, gist of this story that I'm seeing so far is you got a couple of people here that are looking at real life on the ground actions and just simply questioning what polls are saying.
Yeah.
Is that a problem?
Well, clearly it means they're denying the election, and now we should start babbling on like a bunch of paranoid idiots and suggest that maybe the candidates will not accept the outcome of the election if they don't win, because we have to be just like the U.S.
That is exactly what the media started to do over last week. It was absolutely insane for the media to bring in such American-style journalism, if you could even call it journalism, to say that they're going to deny the election just because they don't believe in the polls.
I mean, polls can be wrong. It's happened before, and it'll happen again.
But how do they suppose the poll's been, rigged? Quote unquote? Is that what they're saying?
They're not rigged. A lot of the polls do the best they can, pollsters, sorry. They do the best they can with what they have. But there are certain things that can influence the polls that are, somewhat out of their hands sometimes. Like who is going to actually pick up a phone or spend time answering a poll, right? I mean, you think about the time of day where they happen. Lots of people are at work, so you can lose people that way. If you look at, for example, we've seen a few breakdowns now. The Liberal support is very heavily skewed towards older generations, who might be retired and are more available to be polled and perhaps more willing to be polled. Whereas younger people may be busy having a job, looking after kids. They may just not have time to answer the question. So you can get some skew on it that way. You can also, different parts of the country they want to vote different ways. So it depends if you're the coverage that you're getting. There's lots of different things that can affect them, and they don't always have control over that. They have to do their best to sort of adjust to weight their results and try to predict. But yeah, I mean there are some of them that are just straight up, I'm gonna create a poll that says this thing, and then they do it, and that is bias and nonsense. But I don't think that's most of them.
And you said something that people might not understand. Weighting. It's a term that they use in polling, because the reality is you're not polling the entire population of Canada like the election is going to try to do. This is not a crystal ball here where you're going to look into their polling and say this is an exact reflection of what's going to happen on April 28th, okay? It's like 1,000 people maybe.
Well, they're doing new polls every day.
Yeah,
right?
they're not but I'm saying they're small numbers, like 1,000 people or something. Maybe they got slightly bigger ones. But how many people live in Canada, Michael Lee? Like 40 million, right?
I think it's just 1,000.
Yeah, apparently it's just 1,000 people that Ipsos or Nanos or whoever they are is calling.
Yeah.
Right. So what they have to do is they take a look at the quality of the sample group that they get, and they determine, is this a constant liberal voter, conservative voter, an undecided, and what part of the country do they represent? And then they try to take the data that they get from those 1,000 people, and they extrapolate the data that they have for their polling sample size, and they do what's called weighting, and they make sure that, let's just say, if 30, what is it, something like almost 40% or more of the country is from Ontario and Quebec, they try to take the small sample of people from Ontario and Quebec and give whatever their answers were at a higher rate than what you might have actually had in the actual questionnaire that they performed of the 1,000 people. So they're making this try to reflect the surveys that were done previously in Canada, or they might be basing it on data from previous elections. So all of the data that they're collecting is just a bunch of metrics that is a determination of how they think the data should be interpreted. So why can't we as Canadians just question that data? Because they can be wrong. It's not like we haven't seen polls suggesting that Hillary Clinton was going to win in the U.S. and Kamala was going to win, and all those people were wrong.
You can only bring in U.S. stuff when it's convenient for liberals. Okay?
Apparently, that's the way it goes.
You have to stop that right now.
I don't care. I as far as I know, people are the media is basically just as good as CNN and Fox these days.
Yes.
So the thing here is,
except we just have a bunch of CNNs.
The thing here is, if the polling is right or not, it could be good. We don't know. It is not a crystal ball, and whatever is going to happen could be completely different in a few weeks, in a few days. It doesn't really matter to keep track of these polls. A lot of people that are running elections, they pay it some mind, but not a lot, because they're just adjusting themselves slightly to make sure that they're on point for hopefully growth in poll numbers. But the reality is, they do their own internal polling, and sometimes internal polling from these parties is better, you know?
I think one thing they're kind of going for too is you get people who are less involved in the process. They don't pay super high attention to everything, and some people literally, they just want to vote for a winner, so they see the polls come out and it skews them to vote that direction. I think they're hoping to get a little bit more of that. I don't know how effective that is, but it is a thing to some degree. So there's that. We do know that because of what they're calling voter efficiency, conservatives need to get more votes than liberals to win. So if the split is very even, we will end up with a liberal government.
Yeah, and I mean, that also goes to the point of what the media was trying to say. There's the election denialism thing that the media was trying to suggest that the parties might not believe in the poll, just like Donald Trump had his situation in the States. It's like, this is ridiculous, you know? Like,
that's not a thing here. We don't need to worry about that.
The media is telling the story, though. That's the problem. And the media is telling this denialism story and trying to make it take root. And it's like, no, nobody's saying that. Like, shut up about that news programs. And then on top of it, what you're saying, the polling numbers. People like to vote for whatever they think is happening. Like they like to just follow the leader and do whatever the media is suggesting is going to be the winner, right?
Well, look at Mark Carney winning the Liberal leadership. I mean, as soon as he was running, the media was telling us he was going to win and he was the best option. And then look at, he destroyed the competition.
Well, I mean,
they totally worked.
They also, just
the alternative sucked. I know.
Well, that, and then they just told some of them that they couldn't run and they were disqualified. So
well, that's a
problem.
pretty crappy alternative.
Yeah. But anyways, I don't like the reports we're seeing from the media right now, and I'm hoping for better after we have these debates, because the content out of the leaders' mouths this Thursday night should be what persuades people a lot more. There was one other story, you guys, I want to bring up here.
Well, I don't want to hear it.
What?
No, denied. Michael Lee doesn't want to hear it either.
You know what they're calling it?
What are they calling it?
Buttongate.
Are they actually calling it Buttongate?
Some people are.
Huh.
And goes to my point before. They're using American-style terms for Canadian politics. I don't like the term, but here's what happened, you guys.
A liberal scandal? Those never happen.
Michael Lee, do we have a video or an article on what happened here with Buttongate?
Buttongate.
All right, well, here's your article. Liberal staffers responsible for planting phony buttons have been reassigned, Carney says.
Reassigned.
Yeah. Carney says he wasn't aware of campaign antics he calls totally unacceptable.
Really?
Liberal leader Mark Carney said Monday it was totally unacceptable for some members of the party's war room to plant phony campaign buttons at the Conservative gathering in Ottawa last week, and those campaign staffers have been reassigned as a result.
What was the intent of these buttons, Josh?
Yeah, that's the big question here. So they have these like Jenny Byrne and Corey Ten Eyck buttons because there's some kind of controversy about these conservatives that have different opinions. They're just strategists trying to figure out how to run the election. Mm-hmm. But the Stop the Steal buttons, they are a American slogan again.
Trump style.
At least, yeah, well, it is Trump style, because that's what he was saying about that 2020 election, right?
Yep.
He was just blabbering on about not getting voted in or whatever. And this goes directly to the narrative of what the media is saying. And it just, I don't know. It's suspicious. It's sus that they would have these American-style planted buttons at a conservative event by liberals, and then the media would hopefully pick up on it the same way they picked up on other things. At least the media, to their credit, they overheard some of the liberals talking about what was happening at this convention, and then they were in on it.
Yeah. And
they basically denied it because the media said, we're bringing this to the Canadian people, and they're like, well, we're going to deny it. So I don't know. It seems highly suspicious, and it says something to the morality of Mark Carney to just say, like, you have people doing this American style abuse of your political opponent, and he's just like, well, we're just going to reassign them. Like, no, maybe you just fire those guys and get them out of there so you can actually show some standard in your quality as a man. But apparently he doesn't have any.
I just assumed from that he did fire them, but he didn't want to admit it.
Yeah, so he can't even stand up for it. He can't even be honest then,
I guess. I don't know. We don't know. We're speculating.
Well,
we're leak speculating.
And that's exactly it. I mean, everybody was talking about it. It's dirty politics. I don't like to see it, but it's unfortunately part of the Canadian system apparently now, as long as Canadians allow these kind of leaders to get into power with such dirty tactics. I wouldn't allow it. It's a major turnoff. As the girls say, it's an ick.
It's an ick.
It's an ick. It's a political ick, you guys.
Carney gives you the ick?
Yes. And on that note, there was another interesting story very much related to this, you guys. Earlier this year, CSIS was informing about, I always want to get the P's and the C's wrong, the CPP. You know what that is?
I think you got it wrong.
I'm telling you, the C's and the P's.
The Canadian Pension Plan?
No, the CCP. The Chinese, what is it? Chinese Communist Party, right? Those guys were
two very different things.
Yeah, I know. So too many C's and P's. They were warning us about, CSIS was warning us about the CCP. and that they would interfere in this election and do so in a sense to show Mark Carney in a positive light. Now,
I don't believe it.
I don't know why they would want to do that, but recently I was listening to a show from Jasmine Lane, and I want to just show a little clip here of what she had to say on the matter.
Because this is very, very important. A secret 2021 CSIS bulletin. By the way, CSIS gets less money from the federal government than CBC does, fun fact, warned that Chinese consular officials in Canada plan to interfere in future federal elections by portraying conservatives as Trump-like and anti-immigrant, aiming to turn Chinese Canadian voters against them. The strategy included fear-mongering about potential conservative policies that could harm Chinese students and immigrants. CSIS noted that Beijing viewed Chinese immigrants as relatively easy to manipulate to serve its geopolitical goals. And, as we now know, a further development here, liberal operatives were recently caught planting fake Stop the Steal buttons at a conservative event to paint Pierre Poilievre's campaign as extreme, an act eerily similar to the tactics outlined in the CSIS report.
I have absolutely no idea.
And China has been trying to mold public opinion involving Mr. Carney.
And China has shown incredible leadership.
Operations in China become more integrated internationally, and we need data to be able to flow.
We are aware of an information operation targeting the 45th general election on the social media platform WeChat.
In the United States, the FBI has taken this really, really seriously. They've arrested people, they've charged people. Nothing has happened here in this country.
And they just put 100% tariff on Canada, and Carney hasn't said a word.
I noticed that too.
China is their perspective.
We see China's leadership there in deployment of AI tech.
Talking weeks ago, took out an enormous $250 million loan for BlackRock from the Chinese government.
I have absolutely no idea.
So,
Mark Carney just doesn't understand why the Chinese government might see him in a good light and want him as leader of this country.
They're providing such great leadership. And can we really believe CSIS? I mean, shouldn't we just listen to CBC since they get more money?
Apparently that is what we should believe.
They get more money, so they must have better research, so they must know what's up, and CSIS is just making stuff up.
The context is clear. I mean, he has supported the Chinese government. He has asked for money from the Chinese government when he was with his previous corporation.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically...
Was it a lot of money?
It was a lot of money.
Yeah, it was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money. And he basically just ignores the fact that they tariffed the heck out of us, China did. Mm-hmm. And he's making no big deal about that. When Americans tariff us, it's like, oh, well, we should fight back, right? But when China does it, oh, let's not say anything about China. We don't want to harm our relations with China.
Right.
Like,
even though our farmers are feeling the pinch on that one.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and like no one's talking about it, so they're just left out in the cold to deal with it.
No, I mean, it's evident now where the priorities are from Mark Carney. And I mean, going either way, I don't know. I don't know if he's honest. I don't even want to hear about.
Oh, I don't think he's honest.
I don't want to hear about him being a good option for a leader anymore. I'm just not seeing good evidence on that. But on that front, you guys, I mean, am I wrong? I just want to ask that question because I'm always open to the opportunity to, you know.
I'm certain you're wrong about something.
Okay, just not on this front.
Probably not this, no.
Yeah, on that note, I wanted to ask you guys a little opinion because I had some discussions this weekend and I just want to get the roundtable opinion.
We don't even have a round table.
Oh boy.
Let's get a round table.
These tables in here are all fairly rectangular. That one's kind of half a circle over there. You go on social media, and social media is something that Mark Carney wants to ban. You know, he doesn't believe in that freedom of speech. Liberals have Bill C-63. They're trying to resurrect. What does that one do?
It does a few things. But one of it is to control the internet and put in a lot of measures. And basically they want to ban TikTok, or not TikTok, ban X. And who knows what else they'll ban.
Probably TikTok.
Yeah, probably that too. Who knows?
They'll start with one and then they'll keep going if it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what, you guys, I like information and having a lot of opportunities to search out and find different opinions. So I did that on the weekend because I was talking with people and I said, you know what, the social media algorithms, they tend to tell me what I like to hear, and that's not always a good thing. So I went to the other side of the internet, as I like to say, and I was listening to a bunch of far lefties talking about Pierre Poilievre and how he should be not an option for prime minister. And have you guys seen any of the content out there in regards to why Pierre is a horrible choice for the next prime minister of Canada?
I've seen some of it.
Yeah. And is it high information?
No.
No?
Some of it is extremely cherry picked, and as I mentioned earlier, context is completely ignored. And it's just completely manipulated to make a point.
And that is what I saw. Like, one of the things that annoys me the most are these low information or uninformed voters, whatever you want to call them, Adam. They just upset me because, you know what? It's one thing to find a meme that is a summary of what you believe, okay? And share that. That if you have at least the logic to explain your belief in behind the meme, then fine, you know what, share the meme. But some people believe these memes as the overall what should I say, the final statement on a matter, when it's simply a small portion of a bigger context that you need to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things is that liberals are attacking conservatives for one specific topic, Adam, that is
I see where this is going.
Never been part of the conversation. What is that topic?
I assume you are referring to the topic of abortion.
Why do they keep bringing this up when no party is talking about it? Like, it's just insane that people are making these boogeyman boogeyman policies. Like, I just, nobody's talking about it. They're just making it up, bold-faced lies to the Canadian public because they're low information voters. That's what I see.
Yeah.
You agree?
It's always every election we have to hear about this one, from never from actual party leaders or any MPs with significant influence within a party.
Right.
It's always brought up. It's always. I'm pretty sure it's always the liberals bringing it up. I mean, and they bring it up and throw it in our face to basically imply that their main opponent is going to
do something they never even said they're going to do.
Do something they've never done. They've never tried to do it. And it's not like they haven't had the opportunity, because we don't even have a law in Canada that says that abortion must be legal. We just don't have a law on it one way or the other.
Very libertarian.
And we have managed to get this far and allow people to do, with their bodies what they want to do. And for the most part, people just manage to get along with that. Everyone has their own opinion on it. They think what they want to think. And that's fine. I mean,
and besides the point of that topic that nobody's even talking about except for fear mongers, because that is the point I'm making here. Fear mongering low information voters that don't know any of the real context. And I would just like to encourage everyone that tonight the debates, if you're watching this on Thursday at least, the debates are Thursday. You'll probably be able to find them. Well, if you speak French.
En français, ça se fait.
So the thing I'm saying is, listen to what the leaders are actually saying in the debates. Take the time to inform yourselves a little bit, because whatever you believe, it could be wrong. I could be wrong. They could be wrong. The media is most definitely wrong half the time. So I'm just going to encourage everybody to go out and listen to these debates. If you haven't decided who you're going to cast a vote for, and do so, and then decide. Because you know what? Whatever you're reading on Instagram, Facebook, it's only a small context, and you need to understand the bigger story of whatever it is that you might believe about this election, because it's important.
And
it's important
to know. It might be pure
know.
BS that somebody just made up and started passing around.
And it likely can be, especially, what, if you do not have a full video in context from these people's mouths. You know what? That's all there is to it, you guys. I'm going to encourage everybody to stay tuned to Leak Spec and follow us, share us, and follow the debate this Thursday night.